Okay, time now to talk boxing, and Sunday could be Floyd Mayweather's final bout when he takes on fellow American Andre Berto. Commentator Paul Upham joins me now. Paul, good to see you. Surely this fight will be a walk in the park for Mayweather.
Well, everybody says that, but that's why we actually have the fight, so we can see what's going to happen. There's people in the past who've said they're going to win easy, and we have dramatic, spectacular upset losses. And if Mayweather says he's going to equal Rocky Marciano's 49-0 record, wouldn't it be amazing if this was the fight he was going to lose? He's picked a lesser opponent. Look, Berto's a former world champion. He's only won 3 of his last 6, but Mayweather's still got to win the fight. OK, well, MGM Grand in Las Vegas, that's where the fight will be held, isn't even a sellout. Does that show that perhaps this guy's a bit of a dud opponent, if I could say that? Well, I think it does, but I think it's also the letdown from his last fight with Manny Pacquiao. It was such a huge event, but the fight didn't really live up to the entertainment value that people were expecting. And ultimately, Floyd Mayweather's not really an exciting fighter. He's very defensive. He technically boxes out his opponent. He doesn't let them do their best attacking weapons, and he just does what he's got to do to win, and he's always been like that. He probably needs a better B-side to have a big pay-per-view and a big sales, and I think it's reflecting on this. OK, well, as you mentioned, if he does win, he'll match the record of Marciano. Do you think if he does win, he'll want to get his own record and go for one more fight at least? Well, this is his last fight in his 6-fight deal with Showtime, so he's come out and said, I'm not going to fight again, I'm going to retire, but he said that once before. He also said he was never going to fight Manny Pacquiao, so let's just wait and see what happens. 15-0 would be a nice round figure, and the MGM Grand, MGM standing for Mayweather gets money, according to Floyd. They're opening a new arena next year, at the end of next year, so I think it's a possibility that Floyd has a year off and then he comes back next year. But maybe he's true to his word, maybe he will retire. Let's see. OK, well, now I wanted to ask you, Mayweather ranks, who he ranks as the top 5 pound-for-pound fighters of all time. We'll have a look at that. At number 5, Muhammad Ali. It's a bit of an interesting choice. The greatest, Muhammad Ali, probably one of the greatest heavyweights of all time, but Floyd penalised him, I think, on this pound-for-pound list because he said that Muhammad Ali lost fights to lesser fighters when he wasn't in his prime. Now, Mayweather's been in his prime, he's never lost, but Muhammad Ali was one of the all-time greats, not just for what he did in the ring, but also the stances that he took outside the ring, 3 reigns as heavyweight champion, that great win over George Foreman, the Rumble in the Jungle. A lot of people were put off by that, but I can understand where Floyd's coming from. Muhammad Ali did lose some fights that he probably should have won. OK, Ali coming in at number 5. Talk us through the top 4. Well, the next one up there, Julio Cesar Chavez, the Mexican great, unbelievable skills, 3-division world champion. He was just unbelievable in his prime. That's his son there, Julio Chavez Jr. But yeah, the Mexican great, unbelievable talent, and he was a dominant force in the 80s and 90s. And then after that, we see number 3, Pernell Whitaker, the Sweet Pea. Probably in this list, the fighter who's closest to Floyd Mayweather in skills. He didn't really have any punching power, but he was so hard to hit. And Mayweather, probably the greatest defensive fighter of all time. You could say Pernell Whitaker was maybe the 2nd greatest defensive fighter of all time, another 4-division world champion. And then Roberto Duran from Panama, unbelievable fighter, probably arguably the greatest lightweight fighter of all time. He had everything. He had punching power, he had skills, he had endurance. He just did whatever he had to do to win. Had that great fight there with Sugar Ray, then beat him in the brawl in Montreal the first time around. Leonard came back and won the rematch, and then he moved up in weight and he became a 4-division world champion too. So some great names. Who's number 1, Paul? Floyd Mayweather. Of course, he picked himself. He could have picked anybody, but Floyd picked himself. He claims to be the best ever. I don't agree with that, but he's the best of his generation, and he would be competitive in any era. Certainly is. The one obvious missing from that, the Sugar Ray Robinson, pound for pound, the all-time great. They created that label. He should be on that list there somewhere. I think maybe ahead of Floyd. OK, we look forward to seeing all the action on Sunday. Paul, thanks very much for joining us. Thanks, Megan. And of course, there it is. There is the action. You can catch it Sunday, 10 a.m. Eastern on Main Event.